Hey Liquid fans, Eric here with LiquidFanTV bringing you a pre-tournament show for the Dota 2 squad as they head into the final major of the season. And with the option to still obtain enough points for a TI invite, there's a lot on the line for us going into this major, so let's see what that might look like. So, looking at the current DPC standings, Liquid is currently sitting at 16th, and only the top 12 are going to get a direct invite to TI. So, as it stands right now, there's essentially only 2 slots left for us to grab. Thankfully, Fnatic and OB Neon are essentially out of the running here. Neither of them made it to the major, so that makes the road for us a lot easier. But T1, No Ping, and Vici Gaming all pose serious threats for us, and Liquid fans will probably want to keep an eye on their results since they could easily impact our road to the international. In my opinion, I think No Ping and T1 are the biggest worries since they have been directly seeded into the playoffs. If they win one series, Liquid would then have to place top 3 at the major to secure a TI slot over them. But if they fail to win that series, there's a chance that Liquid can earn a TI invite just by placing top 6. Moving on to the squad, if you were unaware, Boxy took a step back to spend some personal time with his family, and Valve has actually approved Sumail to be a stand-in for us indefinitely until Boxy is ready to return. And if you don't know Sumail, I'm talking Royal Roader, 1 TI at 16, youngest Dota player to ever surpass $1 million in prize winnings, the king of mid and neck pillow connoisseur Sumail. We've moved Koikva, who was previously our mid laner, over to the off lane, and since then Sumail's taken over in that mid lane, and he's been a great addition. Usually changes to a team like this in the middle of a season would impact a squad quite heavily, but Sumail has fit in seemingly without any major issues. In all of the games he's played, he's usually ahead of the enemy mid laner. On average, he's had about 600 more net worth, almost 10 more CS, and 300 more XP by the 12-minute mark, so he's certainly adjusting back into that mid lane as you'd expect, and typically coming out on top. And then on the flip side of this change, we've got Koikva, always a reliable player for us. He's done a great job taking on the role of the offlaner in such a short period of time. I think, unfortunately, when you switch roles like this, there's always that concern of being able to successfully play a wide range of heroes, but Koikva's hero pool could potentially be a pressure point for other teams to try and exploit. I think he's already looked great on the Magnus and the Slardar, and some of his heroes that he previously played out of the mid lane, like Razor, Low Druid, and Broodmother, could still kind of fit into that off lane. So I don't think it's too big of an issue. I think it's not really a cause for concern. Overall, Taiga and Koikva in lane seem to be meshing very well. We recently saw them absolutely dominate Ana and N0tail in lane, so it doesn't really take much to build an argument for Koikva being a great offlaner already. And then if we want to look a little bit deeper at Taiga, it feels like almost every week or every tournament he's got a new signature hero. During Season 2 of the DPC, he seemed incredibly dominant on that Snapfire, and it's almost easy to forget that Taiga is still one of the best Earthspear players. He's had like tournament-saving games on Dark Willow and Enigma, and overall it seems like he's consistently making a strong argument for being the best position 4 in Europe right now. And that's reflected in his stats. His average KDA is almost double that of the other position 4 players, and if you look at his farm and XP, it's not like he's getting a significant amount in order to inflate his KDA. It's just that Taiga is actually that impactful of a player for our team. It feels like there's matches where Taiga's early movements around the map and his laning will help us secure 2 or sometimes even 3 lanes. And then switching over to his support partner and our captain Insania, he's been giving us some great performances on Oracle and Warlock. I think it's pretty easy to lose sight of how much impact a position 5 player can have, but Insania's been doing a great job for us. He's got more assists and fewer deaths than the average 5 position this season, and mostly because of his hero pool, he's got significantly higher hero healing, more than double the average hero healing for other position 5s, but I think there's a good chance we'll continue to see him playing the Oracle and the Warlock at the Annie Major when they aren't banned, and then potentially some Dazzle and Treant as well. But no matter what hero it is, Insania is very mechanically talented, and it's always fun to watch him pull off those plays from a position that typically isn't known for its flashiness. And then finally, alongside Insania in lane, we've got Mickey, our carry player, the absolute terror on his puck and an incredibly flexible player for us. His style seems to fit really well with Sumail's, and we saw Liquid take advantage of that fluidity in our drafts. At times, Sumail played the position 1 from the mid lane, whether it was the Morph, the TA, or his Lesh. And I think we saw that to great effect in the series against OG. So someone like Mickey that in one series can play the hard carry Phantom Assassin or Spectre, and then in another series pick up the Mars or the Puck adds a lot of depth to our draft, and that's something that's very important, especially as we look to get more comfortable with this lineup. I think in a strange way that's kind of reflected in his stats. It seems at face value he's been underperforming, but really it's just a measure of his play style, which at times is sacrificial to our other two cores. So what can Team Liquid fans expect going into the major? I think we're still a really high tempo team. We love to fight. We've got some really high skill ceiling players, and I think you'll see that reflected in the Oracle, the Morphling, the Snapfire. And I think those three heroes at the very least we'll probably see being picked or banned in upwards of 90% of our games. Oracle, of course, is an Insania classic. We've seen teams target this hero and ban it against us in the EU DPC, and it enables other heroes like a Leshrac or perhaps even the return of something like a Huskar, and so it has that added benefit of pressuring the ban phase of a draft while also just being a good hero for Team Liquid. And then, of course, Insania just generally has fantastic spell usage on the Oracle. At times, you can't even see Insania on the screen during a team fight, but you can see his impact, and that really just means he's doing his job perfectly. Snapfire, we also saw get targeted quite heavily during our DPC season, and rightfully so with that 85% win rate. It looks like it could be a flex pick between Taiga and Insania. And specifically Taiga's performances on Snapfire, as I previously mentioned, have made this hero first phase ban worthy for our opponents, and it's easy to see why that's the case. He's had incredible impact in team fights in the laning stage, and overall it just really dominates the game. And then lastly, we've got the Morphling, a hero that's become popular among multiple different teams at this point. Especially playing it out of that mid lane, we've seen Sumail perform quite well on it. You know, in game 1 against OG, we gave him a lot of space on the morph, and he ended up 17, 3, and 16 with more than 1/3 of the team's total hero damage. So you can really see how it can snowball out of control. It has the benefit of being a strong farmer while also maintaining a high skill ceiling. So someone like Sumail, who's just a really mechanically talented player, can just really make good use of a Morphling's kit. And that's it. Team Liquid's journey at the Animajor starts on June 4th. Not really sure against who just yet. We're still waiting for the wild cards to finish, but I really hope you guys tune in. So far, it's been a great tournament. The production quality is off the charts, which is something that's kind of expected of WePlay at this point, and it's going to be a ton of fun to watch. I think the content's going to be great. The team should be performing really well. I think we could easily see a top 3 finish here, if not potentially even taking the whole thing, and I hope to see you guys there cheering on Team Liquid.